Hi, my name's Joe Keaveney and welcome to this fourth video in the series called Raise Your Game for VRC PRO. What is VRC PRO? VRC PRO is an RC simulator simulating RC vehicles. The vehicles it currently simulates are the 8th IC track car, 10th IC touring car, 10th electric powered touring car, 12th electric powered track car, and the 10th electric powered short course truck off-road car. So in the last video then we looked at clearing the settings on the transmitter and calibrating the transmitter with the software in game. In this video then I'm just going to look at a fairly standard computerized transmitter and the extra functions that a computerized transmitter offers over a non-computerized transmitter in terms of the extra functions it offers that can enhance your enjoyment of VRC. So I'm going to switch my transmitter on, and you'll notice that between the last video you saw and this video I've gone ahead and renamed my model profile to VRC for Model 4. So the features I want to talk about then today are firstly dual rate. A dual rate is a type of a feature that gives us more or less steering depending upon what we like. Also, I'm going to talk about steering and throttle exponentials, and lastly, I'm going to talk about throttle and steering servo speeds. So going on to dual rate then. Dual rate is a feature that gives us more or less steering from our car, more or less steering lock from our car, depending upon the sort of type of track and the type of car we're driving and our driving style. The function here is controlled by the dual rate steering knob, which is in the top right hand corner of the transmitter for me. On the KO2, that's the Esprit, and the KO3, the Universe transmitters. They're again on the right hand top corner. On the wheel transmitters such as the Futaba 3PK and the Futaba 4PK and the PKS, they're found in the software, and of course on the Spectrum DX3, the DX3X and the DX3R, they're all found in software too. So yes, so this is dual rate. Now what I can do with this dual rate, I can turn it up, and you'll notice the percentage reading is going up, and I can turn it down and you'll notice the percentage reading is going down. Now what this does is it gives me more or less steering depending upon which way I turn the knob. If I feel that my car is understeering and I've programmed it in, basically you've got to start with your transmitter calibrated at its maximum dual rate, which is what I've done. If I then turn it down and sort of use the car like that generally, then if I want a little bit more steering and I find that I haven't got enough steering whilst I'm out on the track, I can quickly turn the steering up while I'm in the pits, turn the steering up, and then I'll go back out on the track, and what you'll find is you'll have a little bit more steering lock available from your car. Likewise, if I find that my car's oversteering and that I want to turn the steering down, okay, I can turn it down and that'll give me a little bit less steering, and perhaps the car's a little bit more stable and I can drive it more consistently. So that's dual rate. Okay, moving on then, we've got steering exponential, and we've also got throttle exponential and brake exponential available on this transmitter. Okay, so going back to steering exponential then. So any exponential setting on a transmitter gives us basically a way to adjust the sensitivity of the transmitter around the center point. Now you'll notice that this exponential value is minus 20%. That means that it's less sensitive around the center point, but more sensitive at the extremes. Likewise, if this was plus 20, it would be more sensitive around the center point and less sensitive at the extremes. Okay, so with a negative setting then, okay, so this one's minus 20, with a negative setting it's less sensitive around the center point. That actually makes it easier to drive consider yourself, if you were to go into a corner and then rapidly change direction, the car will be slower to react for the same amount of steering input. Okay, so it generally makes the car a little bit easier to handle in the corners if you have a bit of a negative exponential. Likewise, if you had a positive exponential, okay, you would find it quite difficult to sort of negotiate the corners, because the car would be quite twitchy and quite responsive in response to your steering commands. Likewise then, for throttle and brake exponentials, what throttle and brake exponential does is it makes the throttle and the brake a little bit more sensitive around the center point. If you're in positive exponential, and with a negative exponential, it makes it a little bit less sensitive around the center point, in just the same way that it was for steering. Okay, then lastly we've got servo speed and throttle speed, steering speed and throttle speed. Now I leave these set at 0, which means I've always got 100% throttle speed. I can actually set these to different speeds. In other words, I'll get a slightly slower steering response from my servo, or from my servo in game. I don't like that. That's just my personal preference. If you find that you're perhaps you don't have enough traction from your tyres, you can try turning down your throttle servo speed, and what you'll find is that the servo response to you moving the throttle will be a little bit less, and that perhaps might give you a little bit more perceived traction. What I would say as a piece of advice is, if you find yourself needing to do this, then you probably haven't got enough traction from your setup in the first place, and really you should be looking at your setup and not the transmitter to solve your problems. So that's throttle and servo speed. So throttle and steering servo speed, remember, they just allow you to program the response, or the responsiveness of your servo in relation to the demands you're putting in them via the sticks or the wheels. Okay, so that's the three options that I wanted to explore with you today. The next video we're going to look at the replay system, so we're going to go in game and look at the newest feature of VRC, which is the replay system. So I'll see you again. Thank you very much.